All right, this is me building a $3 million a year business in public. And the way I always do these videos is I start them with some YouTube comment Q&A. That's just to deliver you guys some value, and then also does some two-way engagement between me and my audience. Really helps the YouTube growth. Then I do some building and strategizing in public before finally chatting growth stats across YouTube, Instagram, and my products. If you don't know who I am, I actually ran another YouTube channel that just hit 176,000 subs. This is the daily updates one. I do this one just because it's like a new marketing technique. It's fun. It helps me with my own daily accountability. That allows me to cater to a subset of my audience that is less interested in automations and theory and whatnot, and more interested in just like day-to-day practical business stuff. So right now I'm just scrolling to the very bottom of the community tab. I'm doing this just to show you guys how many questions I get. You guys can add your question to the stack at any point in time just by commenting any one of my daily updates videos, okay? All right, last one was from True Indigo. Hey, Fahim, who said, congrats, Nick, you're an absolute G. Thank you. SLM10 New York says, nice stuff, bro. Darshit Poria says, amazing. I think I'm getting comments on the, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Great content as always, says Julas. Thank you very much. Harshit gives you some hearts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Nick, in the video, you answered a question from a 16-year-old who said that clients tend to lose trust once they find out his age. I'm 15, so I'm in an even tougher spot. I can't use Upwork, LinkedIn, or other platforms, and I feel like clients lose trust in me instantly once they see or hear me. I'm already in your program and honestly really solid, but the costs are starting to add up. With the program and other tools, I'm probably spending around $400 a month right now. I know just one client could cover that all, but it's tough with these default limitations stacked against me. That said, I don't want to stop. I know this business model has massive potential, and I don't want to miss out just because of a few obstacles. Damn, this kid's motivating the hell out of me. School is starting soon. It's still summer break, and I don't want to fall into the trap of making excuses or giving up. Do you have any advice? I know I'm not the only one in this position. A lot of others my age are facing the same struggles. Wonderful work. My advice to anybody that I think was below the age of 17 or 18, last time that I was asked this question, was find somebody that's older that you can work with. Tactically speaking, just have them be the face of the business, and then you can do everything else that you want to do. You are going to have to pay them some money, of course, but this is similar to like having a partner. And there's actually a benefit to you being younger and knowing how to do all this fulfillment stuff on the back end. Like, you're just going to be faster at learning these things. You're just going to be faster at picking them up. Why? Because you just live, eat, and breathe it. It's just what you've grown up with. So you have a chance to really leverage that intuitive understanding of language models and stuff like that. If you can get good at the fulfillment side of things over the course of the next couple of years as you mature and then start, being more entrepreneurially competent, with sales and client management and stuff like that, you're going to have a massive, massive advantage over everybody else, older than you. Okay. So yeah, get a closer basically. Great work, man. Really stoked on your growth, and you're motivating as hell. Similar question from Mahi. I'm just going to harp this out. Making videos, reducing the age credibility issue. Probably not, because the age credibility issue is just like, when you're young, people inherently assign you lower probability of being able to do the thing, because by virtue of your age, you've probably had less time and energy to do similar things for other people that have driven value. It's not because they hate you or discriminate against you. They're just making a reasonable stereotypical assumption, which is that, if that person is 16, how many years have they actually been able to deliver this sort of value? How many years have they actually done this sort of thing and, been in business? Probably less time than somebody that's in their mid-30s or whatnot. So as you guys could see, I look pretty young as well. I faced this very much so uphill battle when I was going door to door selling marketing services to people that were predominantly in their late 30s, mid 40s, I would say. I just had a ton of inherent skepticism as a young person, and I fought through it. But yeah, I just didn't want to, tell anybody that it's not a big deal, because I think that'd just be outright false. Now, you can still do it. You can still absolutely crush it. I mean, I did, fighting that uphill battle, and look at where I am now. And there are a lot of people out there that still make money despite being, on the younger side. But I just wanted to be clear with you guys, because I think some level of intellectual honesty is important here. maybe a little bit. So yeah, that's what I would do. Hey, Nick, how do you sell before building anything? Do you recommend taking money after doing like a demo discovery call with a prospect? Yeah, absolutely. The whole idea of selling before building stuff isn't necessarily that you just like say, hey, would you like to buy a 700-ton rocket? I can build it for you and it'll be $5 million. The idea is, that you can build something, okay? You know that it's possible because other people like myself, or maybe other channels on YouTube or other templates out there, have validated it. You don't actually have to spend all the time and effort like building out the thing in order to sell it. What you can do is you can sell the idea to somebody. You can talk about how you have this system, or how this system is capable of generating these results. When you get buy-in from the person, then use that validation to steer you towards building the system. You ask them questions about what's important to them. You figure out what their needs are and how they differ from maybe what the template was initially built for. And then when you build the solution, you build exactly what they want. You don't build something first and then try and convince them that this is what they need. You know what I mean? So it's almost like instead of you with a round peg, with a square peg trying to fit something into a round hole, it's like you figure out exactly what the peg looks like. Sorry. Instead of you, let me just draw an example here so it can be hyper clear. Instead of you building a product before, which is like this, okay, and then trying to fit it into this triangular peg, what you do is you see the triangular peg and then you say, okay, I should probably build out something that's triangular. Do you know what I mean? This is a much simpler and easier way of going about things in 2020 current year and beyond because, there's just like you can build systems so quickly now that you don't actually have to spend all that time and energy investing in an approach that you don't actually know whether or not it's going to pan out. Okay, Ann says, hey, Nick, I want a suggestion. I'm in the 5th semester of my BS computer science. I always find that so funny because it reminds me of bullshit. But I'm not getting so much value from that. Should I leave it or not? Love to hear from you. By the way, I'm a skilled AI agent developer. No, I would not leave college, to be clear. If you're already in college, if you already made some serious headways there, I wouldn't just drop out. I think college was a tremendously valuable experience for me. Maybe not necessarily in terms of my career and the amount of money that I was making, but yeah, in terms of like a variety of other things. Like I had some of my best experiences in college. I made some of my best relationships, at least at the time in college. I had a bunch of like firsts and stuff like that. I definitely would not deprive myself of that social experience. And I think that's important, right? So I'm not going to be the person here to sit there and tell you that you should drop out. But I'm also not going to sit here and pretend that this was like super valuable for business purposes or for knowledge purposes. You can absolutely learn everything you need to learn from your college degree in maybe a quarter of the time taking online courses at home. You don't have to physically go to lectures. You can play them at 2 or 3x speed in the comfort of your own home. You don't have to physically listen to kind of mid-tier, B-tier professors. You could like get all of the best professors on planet Earth online, like literally the best in their field, and then just watch their YouTube videos instead of your mid-B tier professor. Like the leverage in doing it your own way is just so much higher. So my recommendation for you is basically just do what I did. I used college mostly for the social experience. After my second year or so, I realized that the learning of it was very suboptimal. So I just started skipping all of my classes. I skipped the vast majority of them. There were a couple of them that I needed to be physically there for attendance purposes. I would just ask how much of a percentage hit I would take if I was not there. And if it was like 5 or 10%, then I just wouldn't show up. Not that big of a deal to me. So yeah, I didn't show up to a bunch of classes and I ended up getting like basically top marks in everyone. Not everyone. Those ones with participations, I was kind of like, top 10%, but yeah. Infinite Sauce, thank you. Hillrez, another banger. Thank you. Nick is awesome. Thank you. Casually talks about entire empire crashing down by someone buying him likes. I guess when you have the kind of money you have, temporarily losing your income over technicality doesn't really concern you. Yeah, very true, Jared. To make a long story short, somebody's trying to get me banned right now. It's about a week and a half ago this thing started. So they're buying likes on all my videos. If you guys have ever wondered why there's so many upvotes and stuff like that in my videos, despite them being new, that's what's going on. They're also just like spamming and brigading and stuff like this. Very common technique to take down other YouTubers. So just wanted to make sure everybody knows that. It sucks, but is it the biggest deal in the whole wide world? No. I was always wondering about like, casually talking about your whole empire crashing down. Like, what would actually happen if it did? Basically nothing. If this YouTube channel gets banned, boo-hoo, I'm still loaded. Like, I have more, in the way of assets than 99% of the world. I have more in the way of income than 99% of the world. I'll just do something else. Ideally, I would get it back because it's a really cool vehicle that takes me towards my goals. But I'm gonna lie, my goals nowadays aren't really monetary based. And it was really interesting. So my Instagram got hacked, right? We got 300,000 followers on that Instagram. And at the time, I think we had 200K or so. It got hacked and I found out. And my reaction was literally just like, all right, well, there goes that Instagram. Next. And it was interesting because everybody's like, oh my God, your Instagram got hacked? What about this? What about that? And I was just like, yeah, honestly, I wasn't even expecting anything would get this far in the first place. So it's really not that big a deal. Glad I had the win while I could. I would encourage you guys to take your business successes similarly seriously. Weirdly enough, you need to be very serious about what you're doing, but also detach fully from the outcome. Okay, Azim says, hey, Nick, thanks for answering my question. Really helped clear that last one up. Interested in hearing what you would have to say for me about productizing my offer. I know that for an offer to be irresistible, it has to be specific. But how do I create a specific offer if I'm currently split testing 3 niches? Do I create one for each? Thanks as always, man. Yes, you create one for each. In MakerSchool, we actually have you create 2 for each. That's what SLM10NY, the 15-year-old prodigy here, is unfortunately leaking all my sauce, but thank you. Yeah, just create one for each. Arnaldo says, thanks for the value, man. It's just amazing. Thank you. Hey, Nick, I landed a client in the recruitment space, but instead of emails, he prefers Facebook, LinkedIn, and WhatsApp numbers. I use Rapid AI to get access to Google, but I don't get the correct Facebook and LinkedIn profiles of the CEOs or decision makers. What should I do, bro? Interesting. So he prefers Facebook, LinkedIn, or WhatsApp numbers. I don't understand. He's doing direct outreach through WhatsApp numbers. Kind of weird. Yeah, I mean, like, you're heavily throttled by Facebook. How many messages can you send a day, realistically? How many, like, connect requests or friend requests can you send a day? Like 30, right? Something like that. That's not entirely accurate, but let's just say it is about 30. LinkedIn, it's like 20, 30, depending on the profile that you have, whether or not you have LinkedIn Premium. WhatsApp numbers, I mean, per number, how many can you realistically send? Really not that many. So, like, basically, you're giving this person way too much control over these outbound methods. If they hired you specifically for Facebook, LinkedIn, and WhatsApp, fine. Obviously, you have to work with what they hired you for, right? But this is where, like, your work as a consultant comes into play. It's never either or, right? Like, the best results would be combining email with all of these and then also sending at platform limits or above. Anyway, I don't get the correct Facebook and LinkedIn profiles of CEOs or decision makers. You should be able to get LinkedIn profiles really easily using Appify. So if you just go into Apollo and then scrape for CEOs or decision makers, pump them into Appify, by default, you'll get the vast majority of these LinkedIn profiles. Facebook profiles, tough for me to say, man. You got a couple options on Appify. I mean, I know you're talking about Rapid API. Appify is basically the same thing. But you got a couple of options here. You can use a Facebook search scraper, pump in a bunch of queries, like people's names, I think. And then you can find people. This would be a massive pain in the ass, but you can do it. Facebook search for people, hashtag search, no. User search, here you go. You can grab like the Facebook profile of somebody by pumping in some of these details. So name, Mark Zuckerberg or whatever. And then you can go and you can see who pops up. Yeah, honestly though, Facebook's not the best, man. Like, you shouldn't be doing outbound on Facebook. What software do you record with? OBS, yep. Camera and window setup, Sony A7C, window setup. Yeah, I just got like I have a couple of scenes. You want to see it? I will show you. 1 second, please. Oh, yeah, here we go. So this is my window setup. So this is OBS Studio, and I just have a little thing that allows me to hide OBS from capture. If I click this button, it disappears, and then if I unclick it, it opens up. That's just so you guys don't see this. And then, yeah, like I'm recording my screen right now. It's kind of what's going on over here. That's why you guys are seeing what you're seeing. So I have 2 scenes set up, really, the main one and then screen share overview. If I click main, then I'm going to go back to my face. You ready? And then if I go screen share overview, I go back to this. And then I also have a third one called blurred screen share. The reason why I do blurred screen share is just because sometimes I need to blur stuff, confidential information, whatnot. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me hide that from capture, get it all nice and pretty. We can keep on going. Nick, I'm from Saudi Arabia. My English is middle level almost. You recommend me starting my automation agency in Saudi Arabia or investing my time to improve my English and then starting in the US? I would do the domain, like location specific thing right now. I would actually target the UAE or Saudi Arabia, sorry. Is the UAE the same thing? No, it's not. Sorry. I would focus on your local market first. I would give that a try for real. Obviously cost of living standards and stuff like that are going to differ around the world. Saudi's fantastic, I think, from my understanding. So is the UAE. Y'all pay more money for services on average than most other places in the world. So I would 100% try selling to your local market to start. And then, yeah, you can worry about other markets and stuff like that afterwards. Keep in mind, when you work in other markets, you're going to be about between a 10 to 13-hour difference on average across North America. So basically, it's going to be your evening in our morning, and our evening is going to be your morning all the time. So that's actually going to make it pretty difficult to do stuff with. There's just so much of an uphill battle involved in that I would just go with your local market first. Chris says, heard you mention about 70% of businesses using Google Mail. Would you agree that enterprise-level businesses are likely using Microsoft? In the industry I work in, pharma seems to be entirely Microsoft 365. If so, should I buy Microsoft mailboxes? I think you should probably go 50-50. It's true that some enterprise is more likely to use Microsoft for sure. There's no disputing that. But I think the number of large enterprises that are moving over to Google is actually increasing. And yeah, market share-wise, it's about 70-30. W Sonic says, this is the last question. If a client pays me to build a custom automation, one-time plus monthly fee, do they own it outright? I think I mentioned the answer to this already, but just because this is the last question, let me be abundantly clear. I give my clients everything. because I don't think that intellectual property is really all that important these days. And I'd rather just have them have access to all of the systems, have them have all the intellectual property in case we ever stop working together. Reason being, I don't want to create extra work for myself in order to do handoffs and stuff like that. And I also don't want to gatekeep my automations and make them feel like they have to keep paying me in order for their business to run. That's a dark pattern. It's maladaptive, and I think it negatively impacts your reputation. Okay, let me take a peek. What are we going to do here? I'm going to just strategize with you guys in public a little bit, talk about what's going on with one of the channels that I run. So I don't know if you guys know, but I'm running this podcast currently with Jack Roberts. Jack Roberts is another AI guy, very similar to myself. It's called the AI Podcast right over here. And basically what Jack and I do is we just chat about the various goings on in artificial intelligence. We weave that in with our own businesses. And yeah, that's that. So we called it the AI Podcast. We have a cute little GPT-4o image generated graphic here. Apparently I have a red sweater on. It's colorful. It's cute. Jack and I are friends now. We established a pretty good friendship over the course of the last, I want to say like 4 or 5 months or so. And yeah, one thing that I'm realizing is podcast is not performing very well relative to the inputs. So what we're going to do is we're going to fix this up. We're going to make this like a really good podcast. If you guys don't know this, like check it out. I'd love it if you did. Watch a couple of the episodes. Maybe give me some feedback on what you guys think is going on here. But yeah, we've published a fair number of videos now. How many videos have we actually published? 15? We published 15 videos now, 15 long-form videos that average somewhere around 40-ish minutes or so each, 45 minutes or so. We've gotten 200 subs, or 287 subs, and that's with me, who has 176,000, and then him, who I think has like 60 or 70,000 now. Let's see. If you think about it now, yeah, but 70,000 subs. So like collectively, we should be at a way higher subscriber count, right? Just by virtue of like passively people feeding in. But, we haven't really advertised it too much. And yeah, I just don't really think we're nailing the positioning and packaging. So what I want to do right now is basically just do a self-audit out loud, chat about things with you guys. And then I want to use this to formalize what I'm going to send over to Jack later, because we chatted about this just like, 30 minutes ago. What sort of changes we wanted to make the podcast. But we also talked that we'd do some brainstorming and then we'd send over some ideas. Okay, so the first big thing is I think the title, the thumbnail is probably a little complicated. Like most people are probably going to see thumbnails at approximately this size of the profile. So I can't actually tell what's going on over there. I feel like we should probably change this. So I'm just going to make a list of notes where I write all of my things, like my little minor optimizations. It's just because there's too much going on. I think with the outline and stuff, like I can't really tell. I know it's 2 people, but I'm just like looking that tiny little thing in the top left-hand corner. Can you guys even tell? It's like 2 people, one's red, one's blue, but it could also be something else, some shape. When people see stuff on YouTube, they see it approximately the size, right? Like I know that's kind of a monkey thing. I know that's kind of like a donkey thing. I know that's a person. I know that's a person. But like, if most of these people that are commenting questions on my channel, they don't actually run channels that publish content, right? Like we are. So it needs to be immediately recognizable who we are. And even my profile picture is okay, but I think I can make it a lot more distinctive. So let's adjust the profile pic so that it's simpler. Most people see profile pics from pretty zoomed out vantage point. And right now it's unclear what exactly we look like. We could just use a distinctive letter, logo mark, something like that, along with bright or muted colors, as long as they are unique. Okay. Something like that, I think would help. Is that a major optimization? No, I'm just moving top to bottom. The AI podcast, I feel like is very general. We tried rebranding this a couple of times, but the AI podcast, okay, let me just actually, can I make this half of my screen or something? That would help. Can I do this? How do I do this yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. Let's do this here. Cool. Okay, awesome. So the AI podcast seems quite general. I think we should probably update the name to better reflect a specific transformation. This is what me and Jack talked about earlier, where we need some specific transformation, like my first million with AI, or AI for 10K a month or something like that. Since it'll be more immediately clear who our podcast is for and whether a new viewer should click on it plus engage. Right. I think that makes sense. Let's actually go into the content tab now. The thumbnails here seem to be very similar. I don't like the way they're laid out. It's like one person on one side, another person on the other side. I mean, that's fine. I guess in a podcast, like you need that. I feel like you do need that. But just the way the text is laid out and stuff like that doesn't seem the best. Thumbnails could most certainly be better. Titles are a big problem, in my opinion. Okay, thumbnails could most certainly be better, not fully utilizing the space. Best to make the text huge. See Hormozy's recent video thumbnails. Titles are a big problem, in my opinion. When we use the term, the title of the podcast in the title of the video, two things happen. One, the title cuts off and it looks strange. So let me show you what I mean. This is a title that I just changed before. So first of all, this happens, which is not good. And it looks strange. And two, we're intimidating new viewers because we make them think they need to have watched a bunch of older videos to get what's going on right now. There are probably some SEO benefits to this, having the title of the podcast in the title of every video, but I believe this is outweighed right now since nobody is really looking us up. Okay. I think that makes sense. Okay. What else is going on? I feel like we just gotta, yeah. Yeah, okay. What else is going on? Packaging wise, titles aside from that are not very good right now. Answering uncomfortable questions about our community. Communities means nothing to new viewers. We need to make this more palatable to people that haven't seen or heard of us yet, not just our viewers from other channels, most definitely. We should probably do some of this ourselves. Right now, we're sending this off to an editor who, while they have their heart in the right place, probably shouldn't be doing this versus us, which, because like we are like YouTubers, right? Like we do this sort of thing all day. So packaging wise, we should probably take care of that for now. The one habit that made me outperform whatever, it's like, no. Right now, the content of our podcast is fun and enjoyable, but it's two dude bros. We got a joke. We always just say dude and bro to each other on the podcast. And so everybody's saying, hey, dude bros, when they leave comments. But anyway, it's two dude bros just talking casually about various goings on in the news. If I'm a new viewer, I have no idea why I should be listening to you guys. Sure, your personalities are cool, but what makes us different? Really, it's just what we've done before, plus our social proof. So we should be mentioning this much more throughout the videos. What I mean by this, we should probably add an introduction where we explicitly state why Nick and Jack are accomplished entrepreneurs and have done something worthwhile. Nick makes X dollars per month, runs Y communities along with a Z business or something. Jack runs a X community with the lowest churn on school, something of that nature, along with a SaaS that does Y. You know what I mean? Like that's the sort of thing that we need, I would say. We should also weave that social proof in to the content itself. Perhaps every 5-10 minutes, we should be mentioning or tying back a point to our businesses. For instance, I signed a deal with XYZ notable person just last week. And one thing I learned was, if you notice, big podcasters with prior business experience do this sort of thing all the time. Cool. I would agree with everything that I'm writing, which is nice. It's always good to agree with what you're writing. We should have more back and forth. We started doing this a couple of episodes ago using a Q&A format similar to daily updates, where we take 5 minutes at the end of the pod to go through people's cues. I think this is great, and perhaps we should expand this and make it 10 minutes, along with standardize how we answer cues. We should also make it abundantly clear that we do answer cues in each video, because this will incentivize comments and allow us more back and forth with our audience. Also inherently interesting when people disagree with us. We had somebody say that our videos were AI slop. And so Jack and I both got to say, "You're stupid." And that's pretty fun. We like drumming up the controversy, I suppose. Yes, that's pretty sweet. And then what else? Let's see. How about the
P5 GP?
Okay, one sec. How about the actual description here? We should touch up the description. We should build a description template that briefly outlines who we are and why we matter, along with a standardized template that links to our YouTube channels and respective, content assets, etc. This will make us seem bigger and cooler. Okay. And then in terms of the actual videos, let's just watch this intro.
GPT-5.
GPT-5 and GPT-5. We've got the GPT-5 flop. Very, very interesting stuff to go through.
Like, this is really getting to the point where you have massive expectations, you have excitement and hype, then you have the letdown, and you have it all within a 4-day period of time. Like it's crazy how quick all this stuff is happening.
We're expecting.
Yeah, I mean, the intros and stuff are fire as hell, right? The editing is not the problem here. It's just I think it's just everything aside from that. So cool. I think this is a pretty good list of things. I think I'm just going to send this over to Jack Roberts about the AI podcast. And we should probably change the title too. Yeah, I think I mentioned that already. Cool. Awesome. Hopefully you guys appreciated that live audit and brainstorming of the channel. I'm just going to run through all of this with him over the course of the next little bit. We're going to touch it up, and we're going to make it significantly better. It's going to end up being the best podcast for this sort of content out there currently on the internet. Jack has a wealth of experience. He previously exited, I believe, a previous software business. I think he's also a lawyer, or he was a lawyer, or he's probably a lawyer, but he's not a practicing lawyer. And so he has a lot to talk about, just business wise in general. And yeah, we both have actual experience making money on the internet before we started talking about it, which is very important, I think, because not a lot of people do that. Most people will start talking on the internet and then they'll make money, and then they'll have made money while talking about making money, or through talking about making money. And then that's how they get into podcasting, to legitimize themselves. It's no, we've actually built businesses before. We made money before. We understand how all of this stuff works. And that's why what we say has value. Cool. This is getting into a pretty long video here. So I'm just going to do my brand stats. Brand stats being the part of each video where I go through my stats very briefly. I see how many subscribers I have, and just kind of toot my own horn a bit. So my main channel is at 176, obviously. This is 12,056, the daily updates channel. And then I'm also tracking my Instagram, which is 311,717, which I'll stick in here. What are we seeing growth-wise? 500, 1,224, 58. Very standard numbers here. Basically on par. Nothing major has occurred over the course of the last little bit. There's obviously some tracking anomaly that day. Not sure why, but anyway. 12K subs on the daily updates channel is pretty dang good. And yeah, thank you guys very much for checking that out. You would be doing me a big solid if you guys subscribe to that AI podcast channel. I'm going to link it at the bottom of this video, so feel free to take a look to that. Have a lovely rest of the day, as always, and hopefully me doing this audit in front of you and answering your questions provided some value. Looking forward to tomorrow.